Hello, welcome to How to Level Up Fast, Hearthstone. So here I want to talk about some of the new decks since the release of the new expansion, obviously about a week ago. So the first deck we're going to look at is this Druid deck that I've put together here. And yeah, I mean there's certain things with Druid that have not changed and certain things which really have. Obviously the major nerf to the Savage Raw, Force of Nature Savage Raw combo makes Force of Nature much worse. You can't use it for anything. You can't use it even for a defensive thing, you can't use it either because it's just pointless. Yeah, and even though the mana cost has gone down by one, it's useless. But one of the things that I've noticed is that because of the obviously the Seathon thing is the big thing in the new expansion. And that is very much like how Druid, or indeed Rogue, which also got the Blade Flurry nerfed, of course, from 2 to 4 mana, making that pretty useless as well. So yeah, a lot of things have changed. But that I mean, the Seathon thing, what I'm trying to say is that's sort of like the replacement for that build up, massive attack at the end. But you can still do that a little bit. For instance, in this deck, you could perhaps, if you've already played a lot, you've seen a lot of your opponent's removal cards. You've seen the Brawl go, you've seen the maybe their Swipe or their Flame Strike go. You might want to play an Nixie, and then you might be able to get Savage Raw at the end. Still worth playing for the end game Savage Raw. But yeah, but often the things last a bit longer. Other good combos, I would say, Maya Keeper is probably the best card. Think about it, that's 5/5 for 4 mana. That's a very strong card. That. It's worth coining Innovate into Maya Keeper, although I would say Innovate is not necessarily, depending on the opponent, not necessarily, if you think the game's going to go quite long anyway, you might not necessarily want to do it. Unlike a lot of decks, you can't really build up the momentum early game to just for a quick beatdown, you see, because the thing about the Seathon deck is that it's like almost like how Druid would play. You put down your 2/3, and then you back it up with the 3/4, then the 4/2 with Divine Shield, and then you're putting up these very strong minions, and then before, buff, Bronzebeard, buff, then boom at the end. Not the way that you play against it, though. So yeah, obviously this card is incredible. You're getting there's all sorts of cards that have got choose one. Unfortunately, the Ancient of Law was nerfed to just the one card, but you will get both effects, but still. It's much worse. But something like these two though can work very nicely in combo to get that 5/5, an empty mana crystal. But yeah, so that would be a nice combo, I guess, for 6, wouldn't it, with the Innovate. Again though, Living Root's still pretty good turn 1. Ideal turn 1, of course, is Coin Wild Growth. Mulch, yeah, it's better than Naturalize. It's still not the most amazing removal, but there are a lot of big enemies out there. Black Knight with a lot of taunt now, especially with the double 4/6s. That 7 cost Seathon card can be pretty helpful with this. But can also take down Voidwalkers, all kinds of smaller taunts as well, in case the early game is going a little bit worse. And yeah, Druid of Claw with the big taunts, Druid of Claw, soak up first removal, the polymorph, something like that. Ancient of War to, hopefully, depending on the number of cards they've got in their hand, will live a little bit longer than that. So that's cool. And yeah, just Raven Idol's still a good card. Generally, you have to look at the distribution of your cards. If you've got more minions, or if you've got minions that are too high cost. If you've got more spells or you've got minions that are too high cost, you want to go for a minion. But again, if you think a Wrath may often be a good idea, as well as a Swipe, and even a Bite sometimes can work nicely. I can actually use a Soulfire against that 1/5 1p minion that keeps on getting buffed every time a minion's played. That's a very powerful card for a Warlock. So yeah, pretty good cards. Ragnaros making returns in a lot of decks nowadays. Nourish can be worked with this. 2 cards and 3 mana crystals. Pretty 3 cards and 2 mana crystals even. Of course, there's Tharisan. and classic scenarios, and lots of good cards in the deck. Pretty cool to level up with this one. And what other decks are we looking at? Hunter, pretty cool deck here as well. Again, we're looking at a Rag. Rag, very popular, but we also got Scavenging Hyena making a comeback. It used to be very strong very early on. One thing you're noticing is that with the thing with the standard, it's almost like returning back to the beginning before any of the other expansions came out, because obviously a lot of them are missing now, and it'll be more like that. Bear Trap again can be useful to just get that little bit of control early game. And yeah, Fiery Bat combos nicely with the Handmaster. Pretty cool to have that, you know. And one thing you notice is that with the nerf of Leper Gnome and stuff like this, a 2/1 for 1 is actually quite a good card, especially with a good death roll. You know, it's similar death barrels on both the Fiery Bat and the Huge Toad can make for popping some Divine Shields perhaps, or yeah, pretty cool. Infested Wolf, very good card, very similar to Savannah High Main, but obviously much lower mana cost, lower stats of course, but still pretty strong with that. Yeah, Carrion Grub, again, that's like similar. I think that's got the same stats as Druid of the Flame, doesn't it? Yeah. But I mean, that's a strong card, and it's a strong card as well. The main winner for this, yeah, the Hoo Ran, pretty good with the Wolf. But of course, Sylvanas is probably where you want to play on if you can. So that's pretty useful as well. And then classics like Kill Command. And yeah, but this is obviously the main card. This epic, the Call of the Wild, game change. It's almost like yeah. I mean, especially if you've got, say, you've got a couple of the 1/1s out or something from the Infested Wolf, you can really win a lot of games with that. And yeah, obviously need to make a bit more utility out of the Eagle Horns. Quite light on the old secrets, so worth looking at that early game. Get some combos, and then of course classics like the High Main Sylvanas. But yeah, pretty strong deck as well. So there's that. Other decks. Oh yeah, the Priest. Really enjoyed playing with Priest this season. It's a pretty good deck as well. Again, similar kind of cards, but a few differences. Certainly when I've been leveling Holy Champion, it has been... Yeah, with Holy Champion, you can get some unbelievable trades with it. You really can. I mean, especially if you're managing to combo it with Pyromancer, you can get some incredible stuff with Circular Healing and stuff like that. Pretty cool. Never forget the classic with the Blade Master. Just put out a Blade Master, a 4/3, resurrect it immediately. It's a 4/7, straight back on the board for 2. Obviously, it's a Soul Priest deck, so you've got that winning combo at the end. You can go, yeah. So if you can imagine, for instance, you can do 10 damage with that, further 2 with the Hero Power. But yeah, even with 6 mana, you can do 10 damage straight to the face with double Flash Heal and the Soul Priest. It's worth doing if you don't need it for your own health. Really, the Flash Heal is for damage. You know, in the same way that Circular Healing is. But again, Injured Blade Master. These are all old things though. But Injured Blade Master, Circular Healing, turn 2 with coin is pretty cool as well. But yeah, Pyromancer can be very, very useful. Obviously, normally it's comboed with the Power Word Shield for best utility. So that's cool. And yeah, if you get a Holy Champion in there as well. If you can do Holy Champion, Holy Nova, that works very nicely often. If they've got a load of small minions, you'll have a few minions on the board probably, and you can just take little pot shots at them, heal up your stuff, and yeah, and obviously hit with the Holy Champion there at the end. Darkshot Eye Alchemist, again a great, similar to how Earthen Ring Farseer was used earlier. Can be used for a lot of good earlier, you know, before. It didn't get used so much in like recent months or whatever, but used for good damage with the Soul Priest as well. Good for taking out 4 or 5 minions I found like a bit like yeah, it's always good to have that thing that does 5 damage. Entomb, of course, I like to use it on Sylvanas. Tyrion Fullring can be quite nice to use on that as well. But yeah, it really Entomb is a game changer. Sometimes you can even take the Seathun, which will, I believe, yeah. The good thing about using it on Seathun, especially if you're playing, there's this one Seathun card which is a 7/9 for 8, which actually resurrects the Seathun if they've already used it. That can be a real problem, that card. So if you actually, I think if you take it, it's not actually going to die, so it won't trigger that effect of if your Seathun has died. So that's useful as well. Shadow Madness, always classic. Always great if you can do, for instance, imagine in the Seathun you've got the 3/4 against the 4/2 with Divine Shield. You can take it with the Pyromancer. It will knock off the Divine Shield, and then you can kill it with 3/4. Clears 2 minions, so that would be like a 3 cost and a 4 cost. And yeah, you would only spend 6, so that would be pretty good. And yeah, I mean, if you've got more mana, you could always put down the cleric and do healing, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I think they're the 3 main decks that I've been playing with. So I think that'll do for this video, and I'll do some more talking about some of the other decks and all that stuff. So thanks for watching.